Hello friends, in this video you are going to learn about OneSignal push notifications. With the help of OneSignal, you can in fact work with push notifications, email messages, you can even go for SMS messaging, also along with the in-app messaging too, which you can just see in this particular screen. Okay, now in order to get started, what exactly we are going to do? We have to sign up or log in. If you are already a user, then you have to go for login. And how to come to this particular page? You simply need to search for OneSignal, and the first link that you get, open it up and go there. All right. So this is how we are going to get started with our project, and you have already seen what exactly we are going to build today. So with that being said, let's get started. Now here for sign up, I'm going to pass an email ID and any password. Make sure you're passing a strong password, or you can log in via Google also. Let's go for that. It's gonna be easy for us. Alright, so login is done, and after that I get options that there is a free tier which is going on where I'll get this particular features, and they have $9 per month package, then $9 and a custom package for the enterprise one where you will get lots of options with the notification. You can play around with lots of stuff, but I'm going to show you the free tier one where you can simply send the title and the message one. That's gonna be enough for now for our video. If you want more, definitely you can jump into all these things. Okay, and I'm going to show you the documentation also, by with the help of which you can build all those stuffs which you can just see it in the plans. Okay, but yeah, you have to take the packages accordingly. Fine. All right, let's get started then. We have gone for the login. If I just refresh it now, so let me just click on get started now with the free tier one, and I'm getting redirected to the dashboard one. In the dashboard, I have to give my full name. Okay, let's give it. Okay, just fill up this form, what all things we need. And I think we don't have email, SMS for free mostly. So push notifications, you can go for in-app messaging also if you want to. I'll just select, I'll go for transactional notifications, order confirmation and all of the stuff. Fine. So I think I have selected all the stuff. This is optional. I'll go ahead with this. If you don't have a website, simply click on I don't have a website. If you have a website, simply pass the URL here. Okay, so I'm just giving any information here for the time being to get started. It's completely up to your choice what exactly you want to go for. If you're enterprise, definitely you have to vary the stuff. Let me call it test or Ionic app. Fine. All right, we are almost there to get started. Complete later. What is it? Follow the steps below to get the most of OneSignal. Set up messaging channels for your app and all other stuff. Okay, we will check all these things later on. Complete later, and we are into the dashboard now. Okay, you must configure at least one platform to start sending message. All right, so if I click on it, I have to select an app. Now I'm mostly going to show you the Android part. For iOS, well, there is some issues with my developer account, so I have to renew stuff is still in progress, so I cannot show you the iOS part for the time being, but I'll show you the steps how you can proceed with that. Okay, so you don't need to worry. If you follow those steps, it's gonna be easier for you to build for iOS too. I hope so. I'll cover up mostly all the stuff. If something is missed, definitely you can check the documentation and learn from there. Now I'm going to activate the Google Android one. Okay. Now before moving ahead, I would like to tell you some more thing about this. Is that if you say if you have a bigger platform where you have 2 to 3 applications in one single platform, say you're building some Uber Eats kind of a stuff, or even Uber where you have driver, then you have the customer, 2 to 3 apps are there. In that scenario, you can do two things. For Android, there is an option here for tags. Okay, I'll show you later on, don't need to worry. But the best way, so with the help of tags, what you can do in the same application that I'm just going to create right now, I'm going to activate just one Android for one Android device, and I can use tags for bifurcating between customer, driver, and all of those stuff. But that won't work in iOS. In iOS, we need to pass here, I'll show you later on, but we need to pass there the app bundle ID. So app bundle ID is unique for each application, which we cannot pass directly. That is why it's better to create one app. This is one app that I'm just going to create right now. This is one app for one particular application, whether iOS or Android. Means if you can, it's right now we are building for Android, then you have an option to activate on the same application for iOS too. In that particular way, say like you have 3 applications in a particular platform, then you have to build 3 apps here also. Okay, I'll show you now we need to integrate with Firebase console in our project because we need the file from our Firebase console. Okay, what file it's going to be? It's going to be the service account file because it is directly connected to the FCM. For doing so, what I need to do here is that this is my project which I have created. This is a blank project and standalone one where I need to do few stuff. I'm running Ionic serve here. Now, in order to integrate FCM, I need to do certain things. But if you want to do it directly, then what I'll do, I'll create Firebase console here because I don't need to create any stuff in my project apart from integrating the Firebase credentials. So I don't think I need to work with anything else apart from these things. Okay, just the project creation is enough. So what I'll do here is I'll open up the Firebase console, go to console, and I'm going to create a new project here. Say like Ionic or OneSignal. It's gonna be good. OneSignal push. Fine. That's gonna be our name, and let's create it. Select and almost done. All right, our project is ready and we are good to go. Now in this particular project, I need to go to the settings part, project settings, and where do I need to go? To the service account. Now in this service account, what you need to do, you need to create or generate a new private key. Once you do that, something is getting downloaded and you need to access that file. Okay. So after that file is getting downloaded, what you need to do here, you need to get back to the OneSignal Google Android FCM configuration and you need to select that file. So I'll just drag and drop that file here. Now this is my file. I'm going to drag and drop here and enlarge it once again. So this is ready and I'll simply click on save and continue. All right. Now select your target SDK. We will go through the steps and I'm going to select Ionic because we are working with Ionic here. If you're working with any other platforms, definitely you can select those. All right. So I'll just select Ionic and save and continue. Okay, now you will get an app ID here. Fine. So you need to copy this app ID and have it in your application. How you're going to do that? Let me just show you. This is my application. I'll go to environment file and in the environment file, I'll have OneSignal app ID and I'll paste it. And there will be a column here. Fine. So you have got the app ID for this particular project. Once that is done, I'll click on done and we are good to go. Now, if you want to, like I said earlier, if you want to activate for iOS or even web for the same app, because this is one app, you can create multiple apps by going here and you can click on create app. You can create an organization also. For now, Technics is my organization name, which I just created. And you can add another organization. What does an organization do? You can hold multiple applications in one organization. Okay, right now we have one app and you can just have multiple apps. If you create here more apps, then you can have the same organization. That is a benefit of it, like I said. So now if you want to activate the iOS, then you need certain configurations from the APN, Apple Private Network, which is available if you have a developer account, okay, which is a paid one. So you need to get that thing, and after that you need to pass your P8 auth file. Okay, you need to download it from there once that is created from the APN, and then you have to upload it here. Okay, then what is the key ID? If you just want to, this is a unique identifier for the authentication key. You will get it there. Then the team ID, from which team you have logged in, you will get the team ID there. You have to pass that, and the app bundle ID identifies your app in the Apple ecosystem. You need to pass that particular bundle ID here. Okay, so all this configuration you have to set it up in order to get ahead with the Apple iOS one. Right now I'm not going to show you this particular part. If you have the developer account which is working right now, my one is not working. There are some issues there. I have to go for the renewal part. So right now you can just go ahead with this stuff. Okay, so let's get back. We already have our Android FCM ready. We have the Apple, sorry, not Apple, app ID for the Android one, right? And what else do I need here? I need to get back to the dashboard, I think. I need to go to the settings part, and I need to generate the REST API key also, which I'll get it from here, keys and IDs. Let me copy this particular one. You get the OneSignal app ID and the REST API key. Don't try to use my one. You won't be able to see that also, but if you try to use this one, it's not going to work for you. So be careful with that. Now here is an option, identify verification for email plus external ID, which is a recommended one. So basically, if an email is registered with a particular user or not, it's going to verify that with the help of this. If you want to like use it, you can do that. But if you want to skip, definitely you can skip that also. Okay, completely your choice. So for the timing, I'll just skip it. So anyone who has a REST API will be able to send notifications from your app. Do not expose the REST API key in your application code. Do not share it on GitHub or anywhere else. Definitely you should not share it. Alright, so we have the stuff. Now I'll simply pass REST API key and we'll pass this key here. Fine. So our configuration is ready, but I have it in the production one. Let's pass it in the development one also in this particular way, and we are good to go. So I'll just close these files. Okay. Our setup is ready in our application. Now what is the next step we need to look for? We need to look for the configuration part into our application. And in order to do so, what I need to do here is I need to go for the integration one. And in the integration, I need to go for the capacitor one, which I won't get it here. I need to look for OneSignal capacitor. Okay. So this is the SDK setup, which I'll get here. I don't think it's available here. Maybe not. If you find it, definitely you can use it up. This is the integration of some other features. Okay. So this is the Ionic capacitor one, which I'm just going to use. If you are using Cordova setup, then you need to look for this particular one. Okay. All right. So here the first steps are given. We don't need to look into that because we have already done that steps. Now for the iOS, okay, whatever is needed for this particular P8 auth token, you can go here and work with that simply. So paid Apple developer account. This is how all the steps are given. So you can simply work with that and it will help you to achieve whatever I told you. Okay. Now, if you have not updated your Cocoa ports, definitely you can do it with this particular steps here. It's going to be easy. And after that, you can go ahead with the Android setup and an iOS 2, for which you need to install this particular plugin. So I'm not going to install this particular version, or should I? Let's go for it, as it is recommended here. So we should go definitely with that. I'll just paste it. And I think I've worked with the latest version also, which is 5.0.6, I think. Let's check it out. I'll just copy this one and paste it here. This is the package name. Okay, as of now, on when I'm shooting this video, 5.0.4, okay, is the latest version as of now. So you can go for 5.0.3 if it is shown there, but if you think that you should use the latest one, definitely you can go for that. If something is not broken, definitely you're good to go. So mostly with this version also I have tested and it works pretty fine. All right, let's close all these things. We don't need it. Even we don't need the Firebase console setup also, so everything is good to go. Let's go ahead and I need to run npx cap sync, for which I need to go for Ionic build to create our www folder, which is not available as of now, as this is a new project. So we need to create that. So now you can see the www folder is created and we are good to go with this next command, which is npx cap sync or Ionic cap sync you can use. Okay, this is also done. So everything is copied from whatever changes we are making to our www folder. When you're creating Ionic build, it is already being done. But with any changes if you're making, you need to run these commands, Ionic cap sync or npx cap sync. Fine, so it is done. Now the next thing we need to work with, all right, this is the stuff which we need to work with, but I'm going to show you something different, right? So we are going to work with that, but there are certain more things which you need to look into. And this is what, all right, it is said that in the capacitor config.ts file, you can pass this particular thing that handle application notifications set to false for iOS. If you are using Capacitor, you may need to update the Capacitor configuration iOS property to false to allow OneSignal notification to handle iOS push notifications. So you need to pass this app.config.ts file. Remember that. Okay. Otherwise, it cannot take over the iOS notifications part. So this is the stuff for the setup, all right, of the SDK. But if you want to look at the documentation, you can simply go here and check how to work with the mobile quick start. Okay, server REST API reference, that's what we need to check on, and we have to look for create notifications, how you can exactly go with that. All the features are given here, all the properties that you can use, everything is shown here. All right, you can simply go ahead with this stuff. Let's show you step by step. I think you will get confused otherwise. So I'll get back to my application and create a service here. So Ionic G for generate, you can write the full form also, service, and I'll create a services folder which is easy to be visible, and I'll name it as OneSignal /OneSignal, because OneSignal folder I'll create, and within that I'll have the files. That is what I'm going to do, and this is created in this particular way. This is our service file, main file. Okay, now in this particular file I'm going to set up all the configuration which we can directly use into our application wherever we want. So I'm going to start with the initialization part, which is this particular function here. Let's import it. I have already installed the plugin, and we need to import the environment also. This is OneSignal.appid. Okay, so I'm just accessing the app ID here, and even a click listener is being done. Whenever you click on the notification, this will open up. It will be detected here with the notification data if you have any. All right, so basically, okay, in the home page, I think I need to uncomment this. We will be definitely using this up, not now, but let's set it up. For standalone, I need to pass IN button here to access that particular button. Otherwise, this will give me an error. For ng modules, you don't need to do anything. Okay, this is ready to go. And in fact, I can do one more thing in my HTML is to pass some padding here, and padding is fine. Okay, now it's good. And let's have some margin bottom here. Margin bottom. Okay, great. All right. So in our service, what exactly you have seen here, let me just show you once again. Again, I'll open it from here. Don't need to worry. Otherwise, I have to go back, and I want to show you this part also later on. So this is our setup part, and this is the code that I have used. This is the stuff which I have passed. Along with that, I have passed this click one also. For the permission one, I'll use some other functionality, not only this. Yes, this is required, and there is a simple problem which I have faced here is that in Android, this doesn't show up. The pop-up for the notification doesn't show up. It directly allows the app to accept any notification, means the permission is given by default. Now I'll show you some stuff for the notification part, for the permission basically. So these are few code which I have just written here. Okay, so what exactly I have done here, let me explain you. So some of the codes I have pasted here, and within which I'll check for the platform. If it is iOS, then what I'll do, I'll look for OneSignal.notification.permission native. Okay, this is used because it gives you the pop-up in the iOS. That is what it is said. This is the native part for the iOS one, because it works only for iOS, not for Android. Okay, that is why this is needed. If the permission not equals to, let me import this, otherwise it will give me an error. If it is not authorized, that is how I'm checking it up, then I will call OneSignal permission. Otherwise, the request permission will be called. And what are those functions? Let me show you the Android part also. For Android, I'll directly call the OneSignal permission, which is this particular function where I'll check if the notification permission is applicable. If the app has permission, then it will simply go ahead. All right. Otherwise, it will prompt you up. Fine. Because if the application has the permission, then we don't need to do anything. If the permission is not given, or it does not have the permission as of now, then we will show a prompt here. That is what I have shown here. Fine. And finally, we have the request permission. If there is no permission that is being given, then we will have the request permission here, in which what am I going to do? I'm going to call the can request permission at first in order to check whether we can request it or not. If we cannot request, then I will again call the OneSignal permission, in which it will directly call this particular function here, and if it is not having the permission, then I'll show the prompt once again. Okay, now basically how it helps is, if you do not have the permission or if you have denied it, then it will redirect you to the settings part. That is the benefit of using all these things, even here also. Okay, all right, so once that is done, what else I have done here? If the permission is granted, means we can request the permission, then I'll simply request it. Okay, and within this, if you have set up this true, then it will fall back to settings. That is what it is shown here. So it will fall back to settings if the permission is not granted properly. Fine. So that is what it's being done. And from OneSignal permission also, we will do the same with the help of a prompt. So now for the prompt one, what am I going to do? I'll create a prompt here. Okay, this will be my alert, where I'll have an option to pass some messages also if you want to. Well, why that is being done, I'll show you. Okay, but you can pass a header, then the messages, buttons, don't allow. If you click on don't allow, what am I going to do? Let me just close this cancel one. I don't want the cancel rule here, but you will have a handler here in which I'm going to call again the same function, in which I'm going to pass a message that it's mandatory. So this message will come here and will be appended with this particular string. So allow push notifications, it's mandatory. Okay, so that is what it will do. And if you click on don't allow, again it will do the same stuff. Okay, so basically it is asking you to allow. There is no option to don't allow, but it's, yeah, I have given the don't allow, but it won't work for you. Fine. All right, so this is the stuff here. Now, in order to use it properly, I need to use the alert controller. You can use Ion alert also, but I am not going for that. Private alert ctrl alert controller, and we need to import it up. So it is not coming here, but import alert controller from at Ionic / Angular. If you're using ng modules, then up till here it's fine. If you're using standalone, then you have to pass standalone one here. Fine. So this is how it needs to be done. All the errors are gone. And I hope you have understood how exactly we are using this particular stuff. Now you can simply pass show alert function here and you are good to go. Just pass the message here. And I think I don't need to pass an empty string here. Just type string is enough, because it will be done or it will be managed from here itself. So we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so everything is good to go now. The permission is ready. The initialization function is ready, where we are going to look for the click event and everything. What else is left? The next part is to create the notification part. Okay, but I need to set up this particular thing in the app.component.ts file, the initialization part, the SDK part basically. Now in the app.component.ts file, I simply need to inject the service. You can inject in this particular way in Angular 17 onward. From Angular 16 onwards you can do that, but if you want to use the old version, then definitely you can pass private OneSignal colon then OneSignal service and import it up. That's how you can inject also. Even that still works now also, but I want to show you the latest stuff. Okay, this is done. Now I can simply use in the constructor this particular service to initiate our OneSignal SDK. So this .OneSignal.init OneSignal init function, I'll call it here. But this function will be called only when we are into the Android and iOS, not when we are into the web one. Otherwise, I'll get error of this kind. If you just want to check the logs here, just check it out. I'm getting an error here, which I don't want. So I'm simply going to check here if capacitor dot get platform function, if it is equals to web. If it is not equals to web, okay, not equals to web, then I'm going to show that stuff. And after doing that, if I check the application, it is working and I don't see any error now, right? So this is what you need to tackle these things up in this particular way. Now in the code, I missed out one thing. What is that? I have to pass platform ready. Whenever our application platform is ready, then only I want to execute some command. Otherwise, I don't want to do that. So these things you need to do it. For that, at first you need to inject this platform here. Okay. and you have to inject it from, if you're using standalone one, you have to inject it from the standalone one, this package. Otherwise, up till here, up till Angular, it's fine. You don't need to pass standalone for ng modules. Okay, remember that. Once you do that up, you simply need to write platform.ready function, and in the then callback, you simply need to pass the functionality and remove this up if you are copying my code. Okay, that's the only stuff you need to do in your app.component.ts file. All right, now we can simply go ahead to work with the homepage TS file, in which I need to go for the permission one, because the permission part should be done when the page is loaded and everything is done, not in the app.component.ts file. Otherwise, you will see a blank screen for some time, which I don't want. That is why I'm going to do it here. Let's do it in the ng on init. So sometimes you don't need, in the latest versions, I think you don't need to implement on init here. Directly ng on init will do. If you are not sure, you can log here and check it out whether it works or not. Okay, let's check it out. Just see, this is coming up. So it is working directly. Now what I'll do here is I need to inject the service here also. Let me copy it from here, copy and paste. Fine, import everything, import it, and now this .OneSignal iOS permission, because I have done it in such a way that you can simply go for, just check it out. This is coming up. What about the Android one? Let's reload. So this is the stuff that is coming up from my, let me just show you the prompt that I am using. Where is it? The prompt that I have used, this is coming from here. And now if I click on don't allow, just look at this. Again, the prompt is coming up. If I click on allow, it's gone. That is how it is working. And you reload it up, have the same stuff properly. All right, this is not coming up properly. Let's fix it. What I'll do here is let's wrap this up within an ion text and pass it here. Don't worry, for ion text also, I need to import it in the TS file in this particular way. So don't worry guys, this is taking a little bit of time to set up everything, because I want to show you each and every step. That is why. Otherwise it was pretty simple to work with that. I want you to understand each and every step so that you can do everything on your own. Let me just clear this CSS, and for the ion text, I'll give a font size of 0.9 rem. Now I think it will show up properly. What's wrong here? All right, just leave that for the time being, and I'll get back to the home page here, and we'll stop this for now. This will return a promise, so let me just do it somewhere else. OneSignal permission, paste it here, and if you want to pass await, you can simply do that as sync await if you want to use something else. Otherwise you can directly pass it here also. It won't create a problem. Anyways, okay, this setup is done. What next we need to do? We need to work with the create notification part. That is very much important, and we are going to use the REST API for doing so. Let's get back to our service and work with that. So you have seen how to pass the permission and everything here. Okay, this is how you can access it up, and if you want to look for more functions, definitely you can click on it by hitting the Control plus click or Command plus click for Mac, and you can see all the stuff here, what all things you can use. All right, these are the properties, this is the functions, that is iOS only. This is also this iOS only is for permission native, and request permission can be used anywhere. Okay, can request permission you have. Then for iOS only, you have another function. You have the add event listener also and remove listeners also, which you can work with. Fine. So a lot of things are there which you can work with here. I don't want to remove the listeners here because we want to use it throughout our application. Fine. Okay, that's done. And now let's get back. I'll close it. I'm sure you can look for all these things yourself. Close all of it. So the next part I'm going to work with is the create notification. Now let's get back. And I have already shown you this particular part, create notification, and this is how we are going to do that up. But we need to use the HTTP client here into our application. For the standalone one, I need to go for main.ts file. In the main.ts file in the providers one, I need to pass provide HTTP client function. And for your ng modules one, you can simply go for HTTP client module. That's it. In your imports, remember that. You might already have that. If you don't have it, simply pass it HTTP client module in your imports with the other modules files, and you're good to go. Alright, so this is set up. Now after that is done, let me close the files which are not needed for now. I'll close all the files here. And we need to simply work with a function called send notification will be fine. Send notification. I'm doing within the same application, but you can use some other application, or even you can use the Postman also for doing all this stuff. Fine. Now within this particular functionality, what am I going to do? So I'll create some headers here at first. Now within the headers, I will pass accept. That means the client is going to accept only the JSON type of a data in response. That is what is being done. And the content type is also JSON, which we are going to send. And the authorization, this is where we need to pass the REST API key, which will be our environment dot OneSignal dot REST API key. This is what we need to pass it here, which is very much important. After that is being done, I'll import this HTTP headers. This is imported, right? Yes, it is, but from the wrong portion. It needs to be imported from somewhere else. So I'm just going to show you. Let me inject. Even this one also you can use the inject function if you want to, but let's keep it here. Won't make any difference much right now. Private HTTP colon HTTP. You can see we are getting the suggestion. Now if I try to import it, I'll get the suggestion from common HTTP. So it is coming here. That's great. Error is gone. The next step I'm going to follow is return this .http.post function I'm going to use here. So in the post, what am I going to pass, which will be of type any, and this will be our URL. I need to pass a body, which is actually a JSON object that I'm going to pass. And finally the headers within this. So it is something like this. The headers which I'm getting here, actually I've created here. This is how I'm passing it up. So I hope you have understood this particular step. Let me format the document. Now it's easier for you to understand. So how I'm getting the URL and everything, you can simply check it here. It is already given. This is the URL that is being passed. Okay. This is a curl one. You can check for other stuff also if you want to. This is how we are going to send the header. Then in the header, we need to pass these three things. Okay. Then for include segments, once whatever features you need, it is already available here. How you need to send it is shown here. Okay. Then what type of content you want to pass, whether the content is English or not. So EN means English and ES means Spanish. Okay. So Spanish message, you can pass it in this particular way, and the English message, you can pass it here. All right. So things we need to do it in the body. So let me have a body here. We'll create a constant or a variable called body of type any, which will be equals to an object, initially empty object, and I need to work with that. So all the properties and everything which we need, we are going to pass it in the body one. Now the first and the most important one is the app ID. So I'm going to pass the app ID here, which will be taken from environment.onesignal.app ID. Fine. This is how I'll get the app ID. You can just check the documentation. Let me just scroll down. These are the fields that you can have. So a lot of features are shown here. Okay, you can just check for each and every stuff. Even you can check, indicates whether to send to all devices registered under Apple iOS or not. So you can check that also, even for Android One, for other platforms and everything. You can just do it from here itself. You don't need to look for anything else, right? Target channel, which is very much important, whether you want to push notifications, you go for email or SMS. We want to go for push notifications, so we can set it. And there are a lot many features available, which some are deprecated. If you want to pass to certain external IDs, you don't need to use this particular one. Okay, this is deprecated, but we have some other stuff. And this is the body params which you need to pass, which is very much important. First one is the app ID. Then the name is not important. Basically, it's an internal name to assist with the campaign organization. So you can just pass a name also for this particular campaign if you want to. Let's say you want to pass a name for this station. Let's say test, any name you can give so that you can detect what campaign you run. Okay. If you want to run some different campaigns, definitely you can work with that also and pass a name there so that it's easy for you to track it down. That's the only purpose of it. So I'll just keep it in a commented way, or you can have it in this particular way also. Completely your choice. Then what is most important, included segments, to which segments you want to pass. Say like you have some tags or something. So there are three types of targeting options that is provided within the include segments. One is the segments here, then the other one is the filter and the specific device. How we can detect that? Let's try it here. So if I pass some string, or I'll show you in a different way, right? I won't be using this directly. Basically what happens is, if you want to pass notifications to a certain segment, then you can use this included segment. Fine. Say like total subscribed one, the total users one, total restaurant one, total drivers one, that kind of stuff which you can do it. Okay. I'm going to show you that part. But the most important stuff is the heading part, right? So I think this is the one, contents, where you have the option of English and Spanish. So I'm going to work with that now. Let me pass contents in this particular way, and I'm going to pass the message, which will be a dynamic one. Let's say of type string. Let's pass it in this particular way. I'll also have a header of type string. Okay. I want to pass headers to all my notification. If you want it to be an optional one, you can pass it in an optional way. And to pass headings, what you can do, you can simply pass headings in this particular way. English, I think heading will look nice, or title is fine, even that looks good. All right, title I have given. Man, too many things are there. You might get confused, but don't need to worry. You will not see the headings here. Mostly I think in the push properties you will see there are a lot of properties available. Trust me, you will get confused many a times. That is why it's important that I explain you these things in details. That is why I'm taking a little bit of more time in that. So this is the contents that you can simply pass it here. All right, as an object. Headings is available here, which you can just see. This is how we need to pass, and I have already shown you that part. Subtitle, if you have any, I think it works only for iOS or what? Yeah. Then template ID, if you have any, content mutable, lots of options. Okay. Even if you want to pass some data, definitely you can work with that also. I'm going to show you that part too. Now let's check it out. We have the iOS attachment. If you have some attachments, say like images or something, definitely you can pass here the image URL or something. Okay. And what else do we have? We have the action buttons also if you want, but I think this are not available within the free tier ones. So make sure you check that out properly. Right now, I'm just going to show you the title and the content part so that we can directly send the message. Fine. So let me show you some more properties here which we can use, which is important is the data one. Let's try this particular data one. So let me pass any key and value. Let's say notification info, where I'll pass testing notification. Okay, that is what I'm doing here. So this is send notification to whom? To all users. To all users. And to send it to all users, what you have to do is you have to pass this included segments which I explained you, and active subscriptions and total subscriptions are the two which are available by default. If you check it here in the documentation somewhere, I think I have to check the dashboard, I think, for that. Okay, so in the dashboard, let's go to audience segments. So these are the available ones: total subscriptions, inactive subscriptions, engaged subscriptions, all SMS, all email one, and active subscriptions. So I think you can use all of this which you want. We cannot use the SMS and email one because these are post, and other ones definitely you can try with that. Inactive ones also you can directly send the subscriptions one. So simply pass it in this particular way, whichever you want. I want to pass to those which are active subscriptions, and the total subscription I'm sending to all of them. If you want to pass only to the active subscriptions, definitely you just go for this particular string. Don't pass this string here. That's what you need to do. Remember that. Okay. So one thing is ready. Now I know I can definitely do it in the same way here also for other things. Say like I want to send notification to a specific device. I can do it here. Should I do it? Or should I do it in a different way? Let's do it here. Let me pass send notification. Let me remove it, and I'll pass here is an external ID available. What is external ID? Don't need to worry. I'll explain you. So with the help of external ID, we can target a single device also. Okay, or a multiple devices with their respective external IDs. Now what I'll do, I'll simply check here if external ID exists. Then I'll do something in this particular way. I'll again update the body object and will pass the include aliases, where I will pass the external ID, which is an array. You can pass all the IDs here. Say like for a particular device you will have an external ID which I'll show you how to create. Okay, we will work with that also, but you can pass those things here. Fine. And if you don't have any external ID, means you're not targeting a specific device, then you can simply go for included segments, which I have already shown you. So this is what you can do here. Fine. Because if you're not doing so, you don't need to go for included segments, as it will broadcast the push notifications to all the users, which we don't want in case of a specific device. All right, so let me pass here specific device. Fine. Or devices, because this is an array, you can pass multiple. Fine. So I think our stuff is ready. In fact, you can go for data one also, whether to pass it or not. All right, so what I can do is let me have something here, data of type any, okay, which I'm just going to pass it here instead of this one. So let me keep it in a commented manner, and I will pass data, which will be having data whatever I pass it here. Okay, so if I'm passing something, it will come up here, otherwise it's going to be null. By default I can pass it as null also, as simple as that. Okay, so these are these basic stuff which we need. Fine, we have prepared that. Now few more things are left, and that is related to, let me just show you, we need to create a user. So I'll go here, create user. This is how we can create a user with this particular properties. Okay, why this is needed? Because say like you are logged in as a user and you want that particular data to be passed in the OneSignal so that you can access it again and again. Otherwise, what will happen is you will end up creating more and more stuff for a single user, which is not good. So you will create a certain ID for that, or a unique ID you can pass for each user. That's what you can do. And you have the stuff to log in and log out for that particular user. That's what we can create with the help of these APIs, which will help you to create single user data in OneSignal. That's what we have in our login stuff also when we are working with some authentication part. Hope it's clear to you. So which I'm going to achieve here. Now don't look at all those things. I'm directly going to show you the code. So after send notification, I'm going to create certain for the OneSignal authentication also, OneSignal auth. These are the APIs for that. Let me just show you. First one I have created is a login one, where you will have a UID or the user ID string. You can pass some unique ID also, which will be your external ID basically. So you can log in with that. It's going to check that UID. Okay, what it does is it will take this login one will take only the external ID. So remember, whatever external ID you are going to create, I'm going to show you how to create that also. You have to pass that particular external ID, whether it is a device ID or anything, but make sure it is unique for a specific user. Okay, now this is how you can log out. This is how you create OneSignal user, where we will have the UID, which is again the external ID, and you have the app ID. This is going to be OneSignal. And here also you can create a body. In the body I have passed some properties here. The first one is the tags one, which is very much important, because with the help of this particular tags, say like in one application, if you have different hierarchy or different roles for each and every person there, then you can definitely differentiate between them with the help of tags. You can pass the tags while passing the notifications and work on that in this particular way. All right, so I hope you're getting it. So I have just created a user with a unique ID, external ID I'm passing. So you can just go for the type one or the UID also. This is actually in this particular way, which I'm sending. Anything you can pass with the help of which you can track it down. The type of role which you have, you can simply pass it here. And how the identity will be, I'm going to have the external ID to be passed. Okay, where I'll just simply pass any string. You can pass a unique code. So this is how the external ID will be created. Remember that. Now, again, I'm going to call my headers part the same way. Then an HTTP request. Now this request is a little different from the earlier one. The earlier one we had up till here, it's fine. Then after this, what we had is, let me just show you. We had directly the notifications part. But here we need to pass the app ID and then the users there, because I need to access the users. Okay, so I will call this particular one and pass this data here. That is how it's going to get created. Fine. And after that, once the creation is done, what next is important is this OneSignal user identity. I will need to check whether this external ID exists or not. If it is not existing, then you can simply check here with the help of this particular API whether, if it is not available, definitely you can work with that. So you don't need these things here. Simply accept it. Don't need the authentication part. Simply pass this API URL, which is a little different because you are simply checking the external ID which you need to send to check the identity. And if there is any error, okay, then I am simply going to return false. If you want to track it in the front end, it is better if you use it in this particular way, because if it is not detected, then it will return false by default. Okay, that is why I have just given this catch error and everything. Otherwise, you can simply skip this pipe part, this particular part, and you are good to go. Fine, if you don't want this. If you're using async await try catch, if this external ID is not present for that particular user, you will get an error that will be passed into the catch part if you're using try catch. Hope it's clear to you. So this is how we are going to check the user identity, and there are a lot many things which you can work with it. This is how you can view identity. This is how you can do a lot of things, create aliases and everything. So mostly you have seen all the things which we need to set up everything. Now here you can simply pass tag also into your create notification one, in the body one. There we go. We can pass tag also here. Okay, in this particular way. So which I'm just going to show you later on if needed. Now everything is good to go. We just need to set up few things. Login and log out. If you're having some credentials, definitely when you're logging in, simply go for logging in and create the user in the sign up one. So here what am I going to do? I'm going to create it in one go. As soon as the user is entering the home page, I want to take the notifications, and after that I'll call await last value from, because that is an observable that we'll be getting from the HTTP post. So last value from, and within that I will pass this dot OneSignal dot, I will call the create OneSignal user function. All right, here I need to pass a UID. So for the time being, let me pass, let's say, any random number I'm going to generate, and I'm going to pass that here. And before that, this last value from is the alternative of to promise, because to promise is deprecated. So we have to use last value from or first value from. Last value from is better. So let me just pass a constant here, which will be taken from math.random function, and let me pass this as a string, random number dot to string. Okay, that's it. So we will have the proper stuff here. Fine. So this will be done. Everything is good to go now. I'll call this OneSignal permission function here, or I would say OneSignal function directly. And it will be called only when you have the platform capacitor dot get platform function not equals to web. This will be a string because we are working with Android and iOS for now. That is why. Let me remove it. Okay, just change it a bit. Fine. Okay, so it is good to go. I think we have done all the stuff that is needed here, which is great. Anything else we need to do? Let me just check it at first, then we can move ahead. Well, nothing is needed. So I think we are good to go. Even if you want to check the notification directly, you can simply go to messaging part. And what you can do here is, all right, we can create an Android notification channel also. Let me just show you how that can be done. Just pass a channel name, say like test app. Okay. And I've submitted it. Then create a channel here. So through this channel only all the notifications will be passed, so you can like differentiate between the channel. Also, if you're sending to a certain channel, then it will redirect to certain users. That's how you can differentiate between the two. say like channel 1. I'll just give any name, any description if you want. This is very much important, the urgent one. If you give the urgent one, then the pop-up will come on top of the screen, which is very much important. Then for sound, what I'll do, I'll give some resources here, and I will name it as sound only, which we need to pass for Android in the rest folder within the Android one, and we have to pass a row. I'm going to show you that. And for iOS, where we have to do, I'll show you that part also. As of now, I think everything is good to go. This will be public, visibility, and badges definitely enabled. Okay, so this is because the name of my file will be sound.wave. That is why I'm just passing sound here. If you have some other file name, definitely pass that particular file name here. That's it. I'll create it. So this is very much important for the notification sound one. So now this is created. If I click on edit, I'll get the channel ID here. Simply copy that, close it. And what you can do is go back, and in your send notification one, you have an option to Android channel ID, where I'll pass this particular string. Okay, but I'm not going to pass it here. In fact, it's going to be from the environment dot OneSignal dot Android channel ID. I'm going to pass it there itself, not here. So let's go to our environment, and let me pass Android channel ID in this particular way. Copy it and pass it here also. Okay, so this is done. So our channel is also created. Now what else is left? For the icons, you can simply pass here. Let me just show you. Small icon and large icon. Map one, I'm going to use IC launcher round one. So let's check it out. We have to create the platforms now. It's time for that. So Ionic cap, or should I change the capacitor config? Should I change it? Let's change it. It's gonna be easy. So com.dot test OneSignal notifications. Fine. That's gonna be the stuff. Okay, I think we had to do some more stuff for our iOS. I'm going to show you that part. So for the iOS one, I think we had it here. Yeah, this is the configuration which we need to pass in the configuration one. So let me just pass it here in this way. That's gonna be fine. And anything else we need to do for the setup? Okay, target SDK version should be 33, which we already have by default, so we don't need to worry about it. I'm going to show you that part also. Now in the platform iOS, what you have to do, signing capabilities and add push notifications, we cannot do if we do not have the paid developer account for iOS. Okay, so you have to do this stuff. You have to click on the signing in capabilities, and you will get the push notification. Simply click on that and you are good to go ahead. Then you have to go to iOS service extensions, where you will get it. So you are going to get it from Xcode. You have to select the file, then new, then target. Then you will get this stuff, iOS service extensions. And from there on, you need to select this notification service extension, click on that and click on next, and you're good to go. Now in the Object-C file, you have to create some file here, even the product names. Okay, fine. So what you have to do exactly is you have to create a file. So enter the product name. So this will be the product name that you have to type it there. Then use Object-C in this tab, then finish. All the steps are given. You don't need to worry about anything. Do not activate the scheme on the dialog. Click cancel on the activate one. So you are clicking on cancel, and after that, what you need to do, you have to pass some code here basically. So this is the code that you need to pass in that particular file, and why that is important in order to do what, basically related to the notification part. But exactly what it does is it will allow your iOS application to receive rich notifications with images, buttons and badges. If you want those things, definitely you have to work with these files. If you want simple notifications like I'll show you right now, not in iOS obviously, but for Android one, you will get those notifications without this file also. So if you want those kind of a service, definitely you have to go through this process, which is step-by-step guide. So I don't think it will be difficult for you to understand how exactly this needs to be done. So I'm just leaving this part to you. All right, so you can go ahead with this particular stuff. Now what else you need to do here is, for the iOS everything is done. For Android also we are ready to go. Fine. I don't think I need to do anything else. Even you can pass some in-app messages also with the help of this. This is free. Okay, I have tested in Android, it works. You can simply go through all these things. You have to pass the 5 users if you want to pass any, and you're good to go. Okay, you can create it with from your dashboard. So this is the dashboard from where you can create all these things if you want to. So if I go to messages, push, I have the option of creating a new push notification from here itself. So if I click on that, new push, in-app one is also available. Whatever you want, you can do it from here only. You don't need to go anywhere else. You can give the name, and what else we can give? Platform, large icon, small icon, all the stuff you can give. Sound you can pass. So you have advanced settings also available. So now let's create the platform. Ionic cap add Android. Let's hit that. Okay, spelling is wrong. So Android platform will be created, and along with that, for the iOS one, I'm not going to create it right now, or if you want, let's create it, but I don't think we need to use it right now. Okay, so let me show you one more thing which I just forgot to show you, which is the tag part that comes within the filters option. So filters, in this particular way, we will have the tag in which I can pass the key. Let's say you have, what do we have? User, mean most probably. And actually this will come under field in this particular way, which all fields I'm passing, and not in this way. Actually it will be an array at first. All right, so okay, this is how we need to pass. Field is tag, and then the key is, we will have, let's say, user or type, I think, whatever you want to pass, type. Then you will have a relation here between those. So what kind of relation we can pass is, I think it's given here somewhere. A relation equal, greater, less, and all this stuff, which are the existing one. And doesn't exist is in the paid plan. Okay, we don't want that. We want the equal sign. So let's pass an equal sign here. Okay, then we will have the value that will be passed as, you can just check it here. I think I found it in the push notification, push channel properties. You can just check this particular stuff. How this is how we need to pass it. Okay, and you can simply pass the value, and in this particular way, simply pass the value here, which was, I think, user, and you're good to go. So this is the stuff which we have prepared. You can pass multiple fields as per your requirement. Okay, the operator one, anything you want. Okay, so this is how it needs to be done. So this is the filtration part, which I'll keep it in a commented manner for the time being, just to show you I have done that. Everything is okay. We have set up the platform. Let's check it here. In the platform apps src main res folder, I need to pass a raw folder here. But before that, let me just check the MIP map. In every MIP map, I have IC launcher round. Okay, this is the round one, and this is the foreground one. Which one I am using here is the round one. So whichever icon you want to pass as the icon for the notification one, you can pass it in this particular way. This will be our icon by default. All right, so this is done. I think we are good to go with this particular part now. Only the sound one is left, for which what I'll do is I will create, or should I go directly in the Android one? So Ionic cap, open Android. All right, trust the project. It's going to open up. So this is the latest UI of our Android Studio. Let me close this. We don't need to use it anymore because we are not going to check it in web so far. Let's check it out here. Now what I'll do is within the app res, well, directly you can pass raw folder, but I'll create it from here. The raw folder, I'll create a directory called row. Let's enter. So let's not do it from here. What I'll do is I'll go to my project and I'll open this res folder in Finder. In the Finder, what I'll do is within the row, I'll simply paste the file, which is sound.wav file. If you want to try it, me play. This is how the sound will come up. Okay, just download it from anywhere. So I think this is now ready. If I check it now in the Android one, you will see the file. Okay, it is showing up. I think everything is good to go. Now I need to simply connect my Android device and we are good to go. But one thing is missing is that I need to have the functionality when I click on my buttons here, right, for a specific device and something. So if I pass a functionality here, then it's going to be great, like a click event, and I'll make this OneSignal from private to public so that I can access it directly. So on click, OneSignal dot, you can see all the suggestion is coming up. Create, not create, it's going to be send notification. Within that you can pass the properties directly here if you want to, or you can directly call a function like send notification and to a specific device. So we need to pass the ID here, which will be the random one, which I do not know what it is right now. So I'll just check it out and then I'll do it, okay, for the time being, because I've not saved it anywhere. If you want it to be saved, then we can have that functionality in our platform also. I need to use capacitor preferences one. Okay, I'll install this plugin from the capacitor one. I'll store this particular random value and then use it once again. So now let me pass here two functionalities, which is for set storage and for get storage. So for set storage, I'll pass the key and value here, or I can directly use it actually instead of doing so many things. Let me pass it directly. Okay. And remember, this should be used only once. That is why you need to be very careful for this functionality. Simply create it when you're logged in. If you already have this value, I'm going to skip that part. Okay. Pass key to be, let's say auth, and value to be this particular value here, which I will cut it and I'm going to have within a constant, or I can do it in this particular way also. I don't need a number dot to string. Okay. If I do that, I can directly use this random number instead of the value here, and in fact here too. Fine. So this is ready. It's wrong. Fine. All right. Problem solved. Now this will be of type string. I'm going to check whether it exists or not every time. This is also a promise. Await. Now, if get storage. Now this get storage is also a promise, right? Which will give me the result. So how am I going to check it? Well, this dot get storage dot, within that function I'm going to pass auth, which is the key name, and I'll pass await here. Fine, this is going to give me the result. So the result, let's say const data, if data question mark dot value, if any value is available, then that means that we don't need the authentication part. Okay, simply return. Fine, otherwise go for the authentication part and save it. So this is what I'm going to do it here. All right, and whenever I need, I can directly call it from this particular function, like the way I will do it right now. Notification, send notification to specific device. I will get the UID from here itself directly, so I don't need to do anything else. Simply pass this function here. That's it. Okay, good to go. Make it a sync. You can use try catch also if you want to. So just logging the error if you have any error, and in the try block, at first I'll get the storage. Fine, same way which we have done here. So copy it and paste it here. As simple as that. If there is data, then we are going to go ahead and call our this dot OneSignal dot send notification function, in which, let's say, test message will be our, I think, heading or title. For the message one, I'll give a different one. This is a test message. Fine. Then what I need to pass is some data. So let me pass type user1, any data I'm just passing, and last I need to pass the value. So data dot value, I need to pass it here. It's gonna be dot. What am I doing today? It's taking a lot of time and everything I have to explain you properly. That is why it's taking a lot of time. So don't need to worry about it. Okay, so this data is ready. Then this is the API for our specific device, but this is not it, as it is going to return an observable here. So I need to use await this, not this, last value from, and pass everything within that. Now it's gonna be fine. Okay, all right, great. So now it is ready. Now we are good to go. I'll copy it once again because everything is same, but still I will do it once again. Here I don't need this particular stuff, just the API is needed. That's it. Okay, I don't need to check for this thing. And to all users, in which, what am I going to do? I'll not even pass this thing also. I'll pass the message the title, which is going to be a little different. This is a test message to all users, for users. Okay, then I think data, if you want to pass, let's say 1 2 any data, and that's it. So I have prepared two functions for each one of those. Let me pass it on click. What happens? Send. Okay, so this is ready. Fine. I think we are good to go. On click of this will be working. Now I simply need to sync the project, and I think we are good to go to test it. Now while preparing it up, it is saying that I need to pass this key and array value within our info.plist. So let me go to info.plist here, and I'll paste this code. Not capacitor is not needed. Do it in this particular way. Fine. Align it properly, and this is done. Okay. So after this is done for iOS also, I don't think you need to do any more configuration apart from the ones that I have shown in the documentation. For the sound one, I think you need to pass it within the app folder here. So within this app folder, don't do it directly, do it from the Xcode. Okay. I think in this particular folder, you need to pass the sound.wave file. Wave file is very much important. If you use any other file, it's not going to be compatible with Android and iOS both. That is why wave file is important to work with. And you pass the wave file here and you're good to go. Okay, I have not done that. If you want, definitely you can try with that. Time being, I'll just close it. If it doesn't work, put it outside of the app folder and try it out. All right, so all the application functionality is ready. It's time to try it once again. Let me close this Android Studio and open it up from here. I'm going to run Ionic open Android once again. And also this Android Studio file is ready. Okay, now I have connected my Android device and it is showing here. So let me hit on the play button and see what happens. All right, remember my choice, install it, and it got installed. All right, I'm getting the option to push notifications stuff to be working. I'll not do anything from here. This buttons, I'm not going to use it. What I'll do is I'll do everything from the browser itself. Okay, this is our browser where from I'm going to hit the button. So what I'll do, actually I won't be having the ID for that, right? I'm going to show you that part because external ID is different for each device. Don't need to worry. Let me just show you one more thing. In the variables.gradle, I have targeted SDK version to be 33 by default. If you do not have, make sure you make that, or you upgrade your Android Studio and even the Xcode also, if you haven't done that. Now, in order to check your external ID, what I'll do is, alright, in the dashboard, I can see one active subscription. That's great. Total subscriptions 4. Okay, why is that is showing up? Anyways, so if you go to audience and the subscription part, you will see this particular user here. If you click on this push one, I think I'll get the options here where the external ID is not shown. We should have the external ID here. Why is it not being done? Did we get any error? Let's check it out. How will I check that? Chrome, inspect devices. I'll click on inspect devices. You can add it to Chrome, but I won't do it. I'll simply use this particular stuff here, this URL, and you're good to go. I'll click on inspect. All right, has permission false. We have already given the permission. Why the external ID is not created? So I think I figure out the problem. The problem is with this particular data that I'm passing. Actually, it should not be a random number. It should be a random string that I need to pass, because in random number you will have dots or something which I don't want here. That is why I'll create a random function in this particular way. All right. So which will have a 10 character string, which I'm going to have, or you can just change as per your requirement. Fine. And I'm going to pass this particular stuff here, generate particular string. All right. And instead of this particular one, I'll pass it here. Okay. Random number, and everything will remain the same. Random number. All right. So now I have made few changes in the code to make it more robust. What I have done is in create OneSignal user, I have created this function and I have removed the code from our OneSignal function, which was basically for creating a new user. Now I'll have the user on click of a button, I'll create it. Okay. Because while doing directly, we don't have lots of options. It is done so quickly that you don't get the option to see anything, right? That is why I have done this. And I have also created one for the delete OneSignal user. Now, what am I doing here is In creating OneSignal user, I am first checking whether we have some data in the auth or not, that is in the preferences or the storage. If we have some data, then I'm going to go ahead. Otherwise, I'm simply going to return. And then I'll check a response from check OneSignal user identity, which we have already created in our OneSignal earlier on, right? I told you. And this is very important because we need to return false if there is some error. Otherwise, we won't get the response proper here. It will directly throw the error here, which I don't want. Okay, that is why I'm doing so. And after doing that, what is the benefit of it? That we get to know whether we need to create the user or not. If it is already created for that particular external ID, then we don't need to create it. That is why I'm doing so. And if it is not applicable, that means if there is no response, then I will directly create it and set it up. Also, if there is some response and we don't have a proper identity external ID within that, that's how we will get it. If we don't have the external ID, then we are going to create that. So that is code is written here, and I have given a toast message also just to show up everything is working properly or not. For the toast message, this is the functionality that I have written, right? And for generate random string, this is the code that I have done, and you can write numerous whatever length you want, you can have that up. Here I have a length of around how much? 20 character string. I'm taking it up. All right, this will be created, and if you need to create any user, you can do that up. For delete one, it's the same process only. This is the one for the delete one. If there is some user identity that is already available, then I will simply delete it up. Otherwise, it's not going to go ahead. That is what it's being done here. And for the user delete one, let me just show you this is the API that I'm using. So it is same as the identity one, just we need to stop till here, okay, till this particular UID. That's it. So this is how you can delete it up, and the HTTP function will be delete one, not the gate one this time. So after this got ready, let's try it up. So what am I going to do? I'll go to the home page. Everything is ready. I'm just verifying everything is fine or not. All right. And in fact, yeah, you have to inject this toast controller in order to use the toast, or you can use Ion toast, but I don't want to use that for the time being. And you have to import it from at Ionic/Angular for ng modules one, and for standalone/standalone should be added at the very end. Okay, so everything looks fine here. I think we are good to go. Nothing else we need to do here, right? In fact, I can check the value also. What is the value of data.value? Fine. This will be our, let's say, external ID. Okay. We can do the same whenever we are checking it up. Say like here I'm doing it, so I'll pass it here too. Okay. Now there is one mistake which I've done here is, if data is not set, then also I need to create it, right? So this stuff needs to be done. I'll copy it, and instead of returning, I will in fact have do stuff, and then I'll return it. All right. If data is not set, if it is set, then it will simply go ahead, right? And this random number, I'll have it at the top. Okay, that's how I'm going to work with. So friends, we are almost there. I just updated a code little bit, or actually optimized it. I have created a function here called create user and logged in, where I am creating the random function, and this creates OneSignal user and setting up in the preferences, that is in the storage one, and finally logging in. If we don't log in, then our external ID is not getting set. That's what I missed out. I forgot to add this particular one because in the main application where I've already tried this particular stuff, I have given it up there. And by giving that, our external ID is getting set into our backend. You can just check it out. This is the external ID which is already set, even with the tags too after doing that. Okay, so this is very much important. That is why I've created in one single function here, and other stuffs are applicable as per the requirement. Fine. So this is the minor change which I have implemented. Other things are pretty much the same, so you don't need to worry about anything. Even you can check the services also, everything is the same. If you want the prompt to be gone, or you don't want the prompt, definitely you can remove that. Okay, instead of this particular one, you can simply pass the request permission function. That's it. Okay, you don't need to do anything else here. Fine. So now I'm going to test in one more device. I have already tested in one device, it's working there, but still I'll have another device so that we can check whether it is sending the notification to the specific device or not. Okay, we are going to do that right now. So I have one device connected here. Let me open it up in Android. So now you can see the device is connected. I'll just hit on the run button and I think we are good to go. It will get installed. Okay, app is running. Let me just show you once again. Alright, our user is created and I will send the notification to all devices from here, or in fact we can do it from our browser too. So let's do it from the browser at first. I'll click on send notification to all users and I get the notification along with the sound too, right? So at the top you can see there is a notification. This is a test message to all users which we are getting successfully, right? Now we need to test for a specific device. Now what is the external ID? I need to track that down. Or I can do one thing. If I hit on send notification to specific device, it will only send the notification to this specific device. Let's try it out. I'll hit the send button. Okay, it's not sent. Maybe that's because I think I have done a mistake, because I'm getting the notification in the other mobile phone, because I think I have set it something different. I have done because I was testing few stuff. So I think I made some error. What was it? Let's check it out. Send notification. This is fine. In the home page, where is it? Send notification. All right, I'm sending it to a specific device. That is why it is sending to a specific device, which is the earlier device that I have just shown you earlier. Okay, now I think the problem will go away if I just open it up and pass this data within this. Okay, in fact this one too. Let's remove it. Okay, now the error is gone and we will be able to work with that properly from the device itself. If you want to send to that particular device, or if you want to send from your back end, we can do that. In fact, let's say I don't want to send it in this particular way. Then what I can do, send device, let me copy and paste it once again. All right, in this particular way, send notification to specific device from web. Let's say that. Okay, where I don't need all this stuff. Instead, I'm simply going to cut this and I'll just remove all of it. I'm simply going to pass the IDs. Okay, that's what I need to do. And it can be an array also. I think I'm doing that or not. If I'm not doing that, then let's do that. That's gonna be easy for us. All right, where is it? This is the one. Now what I'll do here is I will simply pass it in this particular way, and this external ID can be of type any. Fine, let's say that. Now what I'll do in the TS file, here also I need to make some changes, which is going to be whatever data value I'm passing, I need to pass it in this particular way. All right, and in this one I can simply pass the IDs whichever I want. Okay, now I can send to multiple devices also at the same time. So let me check the IDs at first. I'll go here and move to the, okay, this is one ID which I will copy and I'll paste it, okay, as a string. This is for one device. So now I'm going to send the notification to this particular one. I'll copy and I'll create a function here. What I'll do is, let me copy this up, not this one actually, this particular one. I'll copy it and paste it once again. This one will be from web, and it's gonna be devices, not device. I can send to multiple devices if I want. Now what will happen, if I click on it, it will send to the device which is having this particular ID. Okay, now I'm going to record that particular part and show you. Let's click on that and see whether it gets the notification or not. So you have seen we have got the notification on the other phone. Now I'll test on the phone which is in front of me. So I'm going to show you that part, for which if I want to send to that particular device also, I can do that by using this particular stuff. Let's get back at first and I'll go back and go to this one where I have the other external ID. I hope this is the one which I'm looking for. So I'll just pass it, and if I click on this once again, let's see where do we get the notifications. So I'm getting the notification here also, and in the other phone too, right? You have heard the notification. I'm not tracking it down. So that's working. So now if you want to see, if I click on this particular device, what happens, whether it gets notified or not, I'll show you. Now I'm going to show you from the phone itself that if I click, okay, if I do that, it won't work because I have not synced the project as of now. What I'll do is I'll remove this particular one and we'll only send to this device. Let's try that out. Now I'll click on this particular button and see whether we get the notification or not. So I have got the notification. Even if you close the application, still the notification will work. So you have exactly seen how we have executed the notification part with the help of the OneSignal one. Now I want to tell you a few more stuff which is very important for you to understand. First of all, when you reboot your system, if you don't get the notification, then you can do one thing. You have to pass some permissions, which I'll just show you. You have to go to your manifest file here, Android manifest file, and at the bottom, you simply need to pass two permissions. One is for the vibration, say like if you are in a silent mode, then it will vibrate, that permission you can give. And the second one is a receive boot completed. That permission is required for reboot if you don't get the notification at that point of time. Okay, so these are the two stuff. Second thing is that for Android version 12 and above, it works pretty fine. You get the notification icon and all of the stuff pretty nicely. But for Android version less than 12, in most of the devices you don't get the notification icon. Okay, and even for the large icon you need to make few changes. The large icon will show up, but the small notification icon is not showing up. So what you have to do for that, let me explain you. So let's go to our browser and you have to go to the notification icons part. So from the guide itself, you just have to scroll down and you will find this notification icons for Android. If you just scroll down for small icons and large icon, everything is shown up how exactly you need to pass it. For small icon, it is displayed on the top status bar, which it does. And by default, it will show up a bell icon. So if you don't pass any small icon, then you will get a bell icon. It works for all the Android devices, but not for less than 12. You won't get the actual icon which you are passing. The bell icon will come up, that's for sure. Now for the large icon, the size is this particular one, 256 into 256. And if you want to learn more about it, you can simply check this documentation here. All the sizes are being given, how much is required for each and every one. This is for the large one, large icon, and you have to pass it. If you're passing it in MIPMAP, then you have to pass it in XXX HDPI. In that particular folder, you need to pass this particular value, not value, this image, then it's going to work pretty easily. Otherwise, you won't find that thing showing up. Okay. And if you are using this particular one, LDPI and all other stuff, all sizes are being given. These are the sizes for the icon. I have the same sizes, I have passed it, but it doesn't work with that also. So, but this large icon definitely works. Okay. And this is the default area which you can pass. Even I have tried with drawable also, it doesn't work there too. So that is why you need to be very careful with all the stuff that you're doing. Okay. Now, one more thing I want to show you regarding sounds. If you want to learn more about the sounds, how it can be performed. So definitely these are the stuff which is available for the sound. You have to pass a WAV file because it is common in all the platforms. All right. And for the iOS, where exactly you need to target, I have already explained you, but you can just look at the documentation where exactly you need to pass. Okay. Then for Android, everything is given, and you can send notification with or without sound. How you can do that, we have already done with the help of channels. We have already passed it there. If you want to learn more about it, you can check this documentation and understand how exactly it is being done here. Okay. Now moving ahead, I don't think I need to explain anything else here. You can use iOS sound and Android sound if required, but I think those are deprecated some way or the other. Actually, we have used a channel, so there is no issue with that. But for iOS, if you want to pass, you can like pass iOS sound. I think that would be better. So you can work with that if you want to. Okay. If you don't get the sound directly there, then you can try this out. Now, nothing else is available here. Now, one important thing I want to tell you that if you're clicking on the notification, then it will open up the application. In Android device 12 plus, it works pretty fine. But with Android device less than 12, what you have to do is, if you have opened up any other application and you click on the notification, then it will show up the actual application. That means it will open up our application. Otherwise, if you are just at the home screen and you're not doing anything, maybe it might not open up the application. So that is one of the bug which I faced with OneSignal version 5.0.4. So that is why I'm sharing with you, so that you can rectify or understand where you are going wrong. Okay, so all the bugs and everything whichever I have faced, I have shared with you. I hope you have understood this particular stuff. And also in Android version less than 12, where you get the notification to be accepted by default, as that is the process, because we have given the option to request permission, but it is taking automatically. In that particular part, the sound is not allowed. You have already seen when I was showing you the notification one, I have allowed the sound. That is why we were getting the sound. So those few stuff which are not permitted by default, we have to do it manually as of now. So I have placed a request on GitHub with the Cordova OneSignal Cordova plugin team, that these are the features which I'm looking for and these are the things which I'm facing problem with. So if they fix that or if they give me a solution to that, definitely I'm going to share with you in the comment section. So with this, I'm going to wrap up for the day. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Do check the links in the description for our courses and the codes or templates which I have launched. So check that out, all the links in the description. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up for the day. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you next time.